Welcome to Lifestyle Solopreneur, the community for entrepreneurs who put lifestyle first. Join your host Flavia Berys as she interviews successful lifestyle solopreneurs and shares ideas to help you find the perfect balance between lifestyle, business, and self. Flavia is an attorney, marketing expert, and founder of several online academies. She's been featured in major media including BBC World News, The Wall Street Journal, The New York Post, ESPN Television, and more. Join us for this episode of Lifestyle Solopreneur. Hey solopreneurs, today on this episode of Lifestyle Solopreneur, we are joined by Snowe Saxman. Snowe is a wealth management expert, master tax strategist, and a master coach for entrepreneurs. She has a degree in accounting and studied for her MBA. She is also a certified tax coach who is popularly known as the Money Oracle. She believes that we can change the world when we live our lives God first, family second, and our careers third. She is married to the love of her life, Paul, and they have 7 children and 2 grandchildren. Yes, you heard it right. 7 children with 2 grandkiddos. But Snowe is a true glamma, not grandma, someone way too young, glamorous, and gorgeous to be called just grandma. That's for sure. Here's a bit about this gorgeous glamma's journey. Snowe was already a young millionaire at age 25. But then fast forward 10 years, she was bankrupt and living on food stamps by age 35. That is when she made some radical shifts. And now today, by applying the principles she now teaches, she is earning multiple 6 figures and is on her way back to millions again. In her primary business, she's using her unique gifts and talents to teach entrepreneurs God-inspired financial and business strategies. She knows how to successfully improve money mindset and how to create, manage, and multiply money because she's done it successfully herself. Her mission is to empower all of us to live emotionally, spiritually, and financially free by building a 6-figure business in a smart, soulful way that allows us to have more money, more choices, and more quality time with our families. Snowe Saxman, welcome to Lifestyle Solopreneur.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Thanks again for agreeing to talk to our community. I think you have a lot in common with all of the listeners that want to hear a little bit about your journey, to learn from you and just get great advice and just to have an example of someone who's done as much as you've done.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to share.
So what do you do now that you would call your primary business? And I know that if I were to just ask you, what do you do now? The list would be too long and we'd have like a 5-episode show probably, because I know you're very busy with different things. But like all lifestyle solopreneurs, I think you have something that is your primary focus right now. Share a little bit about that.
Yeah, of course. So my primary focus is teaching the financial plus business strategies. The focus is financial, but they actually are business strategies, really controlling and understanding your financials, being empowered when it comes to financials is actually what will grow the business. It's actually the number one reason why people fail at business. And so that's the main focus is teaching really great financial strategies, which end up being business strategies, and really giving people the tools they need so that they can grow their business and create more money in a smart way that will give them more time.
So I run into this a little bit because, like you, I work in a sort of what's traditionally not fun and sexy, right? You do in taxes. I'm a lawyer. I mean, these are, when you think of your tax preparer or your attorney, you don't think of, hey, I'm going to go have a great fun time this afternoon meeting with my professional or consultant. So how do you manage to make something like teaching business fundamentals and tax strategies not boring? Because I run into this challenge in my own field.
Yeah, so it's one reason why I named myself the Money Oracle, because being a wealth management expert and a master tax strategist and coach just is not feminine. It's not fun. And it's actually part of my journey as well. If you go deeper into my full story, I didn't really even want to keep doing taxes and wealth management planning and those things. I just wanted to focus on empowering women. I actually tried to give those up, but God literally would not let me do it. And it's because it wasn't feminine. And I'm very gifted at it. I have years, like almost 20 years of experience, about as much education as you possibly could get. Very few people are trained like I am that understand the tax laws, because, just like you study the tax laws, there's actual tax laws, and most accountants and CPAs don't actually know the tax laws. And so I've literally studied for years to understand them. And so that's not very fun and feminine. And I would get to this frustration point, and it took me a long time to figure out that partly it was because I did want feminine and I did want something fun. And I'm actually a really social and very outgoing and fun person. Like, fun would probably be my middle name.
Not taxes.
I laugh a lot. Yeah, so I'm totally not your typical accountant. But what I did was, for me personally, I really had to find the connection between what I loved and then, doing what I'm gifted at and what God really has me here to do. So that for me is how I really just owned who I was, but also am bringing my own brand to it, and why I'm, the money oracle, because that name's a lot more feminine and fun than, wealth management expert and tax strategist. So
right, of course.
That's really how I, have created my own spin on it and really feel in alignment with my purpose.
So that's great branding, is you're like, I'm not going to call myself, the tax woman. I will be the money oracle. And I think that's a great way to brand yourself when it is a topic that could otherwise be sort of dry, right? And boring.
Yes.
But it's important. It's an important topic.
It is. And I actually had years ago, one of my clients nicknamed me the tax ninja, because literally I was saving him. I can't remember exactly, but I want to say it was like $50,000 in 1 year. Now, he was making multiple six figures, so there's obviously a lot more I can save someone. But he named me that, and I thought it was a really great name, but it just was not what I wanted to be known as.
Right. You didn't want to take your next photo shoot
yes.
wearing like all black and like
exactly.
holding one of those little throwing stars.
Exactly. I did create some really great marketing stuff around it. I even have an app, a free app that people can download called the Tax Ninja. So I saved the name. I just knew I can't have this as my brand, because I don't want to be known as the Tax Ninja.
Right. It can be maybe a program, but not your identity brand.
Yes, exactly.
And that makes sense. So a lot of listeners, it's called Lifestyle Solopreneur. So solopreneurs are business people. They have a business, or they're trying to start a business, and they're on that journey. And before we dig into your actual sort of the business that you do, let's talk a little bit about the people that you teach, because a lot of those people would be the listeners of this show. Business people, especially solopreneurs, who by nature are not trying to build a huge organization that have employees and departments. They're just trying to keep it small and keep it simple. A lot of times their team is so small that it's just one person, and they skip a lot of the tax planning, the legal framework setup, and some of these other business fundamentals. They just kind of think they'll get to it later. But I know that your students, who are part of your tribe, they realize how important these fundamentals are. But for any entrepreneurs who are out there and have not given this a lot of thought, or have been sort of playing head in the sand about it, what would you say to them?
I would say that you need to get a system in place as soon as possible. And one of the reasons I say this is because it really comes down to a mindset thing, which of course, I am a mindset coach as part of my own journey, and I did study to be one, and everything I do has a basis of mindset. And what I found in my 17 plus years of being an entrepreneur and consulting small businesses is that they do have that, I'll just do that when I make money. But what you're doing is you're literally setting your mind up to not do what you think it's going to do, because it's waiting until you make money. And so it's never going to move in that direction. So it really goes back to like the vision. It's all about, okay, I'm going to make money in this business, so I need to treat it like a business, and I need to put legal and tax things in place and prepare for it, not try to be reactive, because that's what so many people do. Instead of being proactive, especially with taxes and even legal stuff, as you know, they end up being reactive, and this is just costing them so much time and so much money. And when it comes to tax planning, you cannot go backwards. Same thing, as legal. Like, you can't all of a sudden, have something happen and go, oh, I need to put something in place. It's not going to matter at that point. And so it's just so important. And people are literally, especially small businesses, they're literally losing so much money. This is how I'm able to save the average person $5,000 a year in taxes who isn't making that much money. Like, they're not making a ton. And I'm able to do that because the IRS has released statistics that we overpay taxes by $945 billion, like literally. And it's because people don't understand the complicated tax laws, and they don't have these systems in place. And then they're missing stuff that they, are just common things. And so it's just super important for the health of your business, for the growth of your business, and for your mindset to be in the place of, I know I'm going to make money, not when I make money. So that you actually can move in that direction of growing your business.
That's so important. And what's scary is we're overpaying our taxes collectively by that much, yet the economy and the budget, everything, the deficit, everything's still kind of in trouble. So I'm now wondering if you do your job too well and save everybody the taxes that they are overpaying that they're not supposed to be paying, I don't know what'll happen then.
Right? So funny.
The government's operating on borrowed money.
I
from
know.
us. But so back to your business. How has your business changed over time? So, working in taxes, just like me, being an attorney, back in the day, it was just one-on-one, direct to client. And it was just that. For me with law, and for you with what you do with business strategy, coaching, and taxes. Do you still offer one-on-one? Have you now changed that into something where you can leverage yourself more?
Yes, there are multiple ways that someone can work with me. I still have private clients. Most of my private clients are pushing towards six figures this year, or they're already at multiple six figures and seven figures. So those are usually my actual private clients. But then what I did was I created programs so that I could serve more people and obviously leverage my time. But I really created them a couple years ago because I had so many people who wanted to work with me but just weren't ready to invest thousands of dollars, even if it was going to potentially save them a ton of money. Or there are a lot of people that follow me who have direct sales businesses or very part-time businesses. So they're only planning on making $500 a month, but they really needed all of this information just to be able to set themselves up right. So the first program I ever created is it's the only one like it. It's my Start Smart Tax Academy, and it basically is video tutorials and PDFs and calls that they can listen to. It's basically almost everything that I do for a private client, except it's not me, and it's can be watched by tons of people at one time. And so people can get that information who are not ready yet to hire a full-time accountant or a chief financial officer, or really get into very strategic tax planning, but they can still save a ton of money. They can still learn everything they need to know about being an entrepreneur, the taxes they're responsible for, all the ways to bulletproof themselves against the IRS, and to make sure they have everything in place at a very affordable price. So I have done that so I could help more people, but obviously also that does leverage my time as well. And then I'm about to release a new program where I kind of have shifted from focusing on the done for you service and taking it to a new level for women entrepreneurs by offering an empowerment piece. Because done for you is great, and I've done that for many, many years. But when it comes to women entrepreneurs, women, a lot of times they will avoid money issues, which can lead to tax issues, or it can lead to them not seeing the growth that they truly desire in their business. And so I started developing a program to empower them to to review their financial statements on a weekly basis, to have money dates, and to learn to be more comfortable around money so they could create more of it. Because if you're not comfortable around money, or you have any negative fears or thoughts about money, it's going to block you from being able to create more. And so I have shifted and offering a newer program that's really based on empowering, so that women can really get to that next level in their business by really understanding the financials and understanding how to work with them, not just have me do it for them.
That's fantastic. That really is. So now that your business has evolved, you used to be primarily one-on-one. Now there's a hybrid. Do you see it changing, and that mix, that ratio between the amount of work that you do one-on-one with clients versus your online teaching? I mean, is that something that you think that sort of time pie, right? The pie chart is going to change over time?
Oh, yeah, it definitely will. I saw that when I first released the Tax Academy. I was obviously able to, the first time I released that, I enrolled 122 students within 2 days to take that academy. So obviously I could not manage 125 private one-on-one clients, in 2 days. So yes, it definitely leverages your time. Time, as we know, is the only resource that we cannot make more of. And so if you either want to increase your income or you want to increase your impact, you have to leverage your time with products that are automated and evergreen. So yes, absolutely.
And then with that time, other than spending time with your family, what are some of your other, it could be hobbies or just favorite ways, to utilize that time that you've freed up?
Well, for me, obviously, the number one thing is family because we have such a big family. And so just keeping up with everyone takes a lot of time. And I'm very close to my daughter. She's 20 and she has a child as well. That's how I'm a grandma. And so we spend a lot of time together. She does not live with us anymore, but we see each other and we even do fun stuff and even work our businesses a little bit together. So with as many children and grandchildren that we have, a lot of my time really is spent with them. My husband and I are also involved in ministry, and we're just planting a new church as well. So we have a lot of time invested in that as well.
Oh, absolutely. And what sort of business is your daughter in?
She is actually one of the other things that I do is one of the streams of income that I have, which goes back to my brand about helping women be able to live what you want, and what this whole tribe is about, helping them to live a life where they are only working part-time and have more time. I'm a sales director with Mary Kay, and so she's actually one of my consultants in my team within Mary Kay. So for women who don't have a business idea, don't have gifts to monetize, that's a place that I can help a woman step into a business model that's already proven to work, and she can move much quicker to creating money because she doesn't have to market research, product development, test everything, develop her brand, develop her business. And like I said, there's so many women who don't have business ideas and gifts to monetize. So that's another stream of income and a place that I really can help women a lot. So she's one of my consultants.
Oh, that's great. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fun mom-daughter
Yeah.
venture, the little empire is growing generationally. Wait till the grandkids are in it too.
I know. Yeah. We're already grooming her. Of course, Mary Kay is very fun, very feminine. And so that's obviously what drew me to it, along with the fact that I could, literally teach women, a business and finances. But her daughter is the biggest girly girl ever. And so she, she's only 3 and she'll go to the nail salon and just be so perfect and get her nails done and get a pedicure. And she has to put makeup. Literally every time my daughter's putting on makeup, she's putting on makeup. So we definitely know where her future is.
Watch out, world.
Yeah. And yeah, she's very spirited too. So she's a leader. She is the picture. There's a picture that often goes around, and I even share it sometimes on Facebook with the little girl bossing the little boy, and it says, little girls who are bossy shouldn't be called bossy. They should be called our future leaders. And that's literally my granddaughter.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I have a 2.5-year-old girl, and she is quite sassy and definitely a future leader.
That's awesome. I'm not surprised.
And I love it. I like to ask guests what their favorite, time saving or productivity or efficiency tools or tips are. It could include either just advice on ways to do things. It can be like a favorite app or favorite software. And then for you, I'm going to go one further, and I'm going to ask about financial apps or tools or, different things. I know personally, I really like, it's called mint.com, mint.com. It's a great website, in my opinion, a way to just track finances across lots and lots of different accounts. But there's so many out there, and it seems like every week a new one springs up. So feel free to share any of your favorite tools and tips.
Yeah, of course. So there's two things that help me with time management, and I actually learned these from Mary Kay Ash. It's so funny. So many of the things that I do in my business outside of Mary Kay, I learned from her. And that was actually one of the reasons that I was drawn to her, because of all the numerous business awards and personal life awards that she won in her lifetime and beyond. And there were two things that she taught, which are extremely important. One of them is using the weekly plan sheet. And so she taught us to block out our time and to block it out ahead of time so that you would know exactly where you were going to be working and you would stick to it. So, you block out all of your commitments, like your family time, if you have date night, if you have any other commitments, and you block out when you work. And that allows me to really focus, on what I'm doing and block out my time. And the family knows, when I do that I'm working and this is work time. But when it's family time, it's family time. And you don't have to feel guilty when you're in either one. So that is extremely, extremely valuable, is that weekly plan sheet. And then the other thing that Mary Kay taught us, she used to say, don't do the penny jobs when you can make the dollars. And so she basically was referring to delegating, and she taught us to delegate, 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 delegate. And I kind of came up with my own slogan that I teach people: if you don't love it, lose it. Because literally time is the only thing that is non-refundable. And I literally have delegated everything. Now, I didn't start off, how I am today. Obviously, I have a multiple six-figure business moving towards millions. So today, I delegate a lot more. Like, I literally don't cook, I don't clean, I don't grocery shop, I don't do admin work or office errands or anything that has to do with touching paper. I don't do social media unless it's engaging. I don't do website work. I literally only do creative work because I'm the only one that can do that. And then coaching, and consulting my clients. Other than that, it is delegated. And again, I didn't start here. I started with my in-office assistant. She worked just a few hours a week, when she first started several years ago. And then she's grown to almost a full-time position. So I just started where I could. But what the systems do and what delegating does, not only do you actually have more time when you're delegating, but it's a system, and this makes the brain not have to think as much. And it's one of the reasons why the weekly plan sheet works so well, and why you need to go to bed at the same time, get up at the same time, eat at the same time. When you do those things, the brain doesn't have to think, when are we going to sleep? When are we getting up? What are we eating? What time are we eating? Oh, you didn't eat. You need to go eat. Like, the brain is processing all of this information, and people just don't realize it. So when you have the weekly plan sheet and you delegate and put systems in your business, this is the number one way that you can literally work less, create more money, and have more time to do the other things that you want to do. So those are the two biggest things that I use and that I teach, especially when I'm coaching clients as well.
That's fantastic. And do you advise using a paper weekly planner, or is it okay for people to get equal benefits if they do it online, like with a Google Calendar or something?
No, you actually need to print it out and see it. And for someone that's shifting and making this change, they really need to put it up somewhere that they can actually see it, like on the refrigerator or in their bathroom. And I actually teach this in my financial programs. And if I was coaching you, I would tell you the same thing about your goals. One of the problems now, technology is amazing, but when everything's in cyberspace, the brain can't see it. And the brain literally needs to see it in order for you to move in that direction. So you should be printing financial statements and looking at them. You should have this weekly plan sheet, have it printed out. Your budget and goals should be printed out so you can see them. It's okay to keep the record in the computer, but you really need to actually be reviewing these things, because what the brain focuses on is what it's going to bring more attention to, and therefore it's going to grow your business. So it's super important to print these things out and to write out your goals. Like, actually writing out the goals has been proven by major universities that people will create 10 times as much money when they write down their goals. And then the people who write down their goals and review them every single day will earn 100 times the amount of money that people who do not write them down. And the reason this is because when you write down, you personally write down something, it turns on the reticular activator system in the brain, and the reticular activator system is the system that turns on to let your brain know that this is important, because we're processing so much information that the brain has to have a way to know, like, okay, what's important and what's not, because it's literally taking in millions and millions of bits of information every single day. So by writing something down, it turns on that system, and the brain goes, hey, this is super important. Pay attention to this. And so it will start showing you more things that line up with what you're writing down. So having things on paper, reviewing them daily, and writing it down yourself is just so, so powerful.
Amen to that. I'm 100% in alignment with all of that. And I often worry about future generations because everything is so keyboard based now that I'm just hoping that in classrooms, writing by hand is still going to be something that is part of the curriculum in a big way. But I don't know, tablets, computers, everything is starting to go that direction, even as young as elementary school. So we'll see what happens there. But so what was it, of all the things you've done, in your bio that we presented much earlier, you went from doing pretty well, mid-20s, really doing great. You were a young millionaire, and then you took a turn, sort of lost it all, had to start from scratch, from bankruptcy, but you've built yourself back up. What was it that made you achieve this level of success, if you could boil it down to the main core element?
Right. So the problem for me was my mindset. I got stuck in the thinking that there wasn't enough money, that I could never get enough money, and every way that I handled money and thought about money was fear-based. And so after I was a millionaire, we became millionaires through construction and real estate. So when the economy started crashing, we bought into the lie that there wasn't going to be enough money, that the economy is crashing. And so we basically kind of unknowingly just stepped into our own little world where we were just waiting on God to do something, that we were not expecting anything good, that we were focused on all of the, things we were losing, our $1 million home, cars, like literally we had to sell everything, like literally everything. And things never had me, but when you lose things, it's still a loss and it's still traumatic to the brain. And so because the brain literally gets into self-sabotage so quickly, and this is why you have to condition your mind daily, I didn't know that exactly at that point. And so I just walked down this road, and how the story goes is one day I just cried out to God, and I asked him what he was waiting on to bless me. And he told me that I wasn't waiting on him, that he was waiting on me. And I was like, what? No, like I'm waiting on you. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing. That's crazy.
He's like, get off the sidelines.
Yeah, exactly. And so he began to show me my lack mentality. And that's when I first worked with my first coach. And I had studied psychology in college because of my own traumatic past. I had worked through post-traumatic stress. I had studied the brain. And so I knew about the brain. I was fascinated with it. So when I got into the mindset piece, I went through a program and actually became a master coach based on neuroscience, which is, the study of the brain. And so it was through that journey of me having to get to my own, rock bottom place in my own lack mentality, that I was able to, get out of that and realize that I was doing it to myself. And so then as I began to build back, the truth is I already had built a multi-million-dollar business. So I already knew, most of the things. Of course, we're always evolving, there's always something to learn. I fully believe that. But for the most part, I had already done it once before, so I knew I could do it again. So the hardest thing was working through that lack mentality and really having to condition my mind and really over condition it at that point to get out of the rut that I was in. And it's one of the reasons why today, and I share this a lot on Facebook and when I'm coaching people, this is how I coach. The first thing I do when I get up in the morning is I work on myself and I connect to God before I ever work on anything else, because if you don't condition your mind daily, everything else is going to condition it. And one of the reasons why people aren't achieving the goals that they really want is because they don't understand this, and they're just getting up and doing whatever, and they don't understand the power of the mind. And so that's what happened.
That's awesome. And I love talking to people about what they've done right and what they want other people to do so that they can see the same success. But then the flip side of that I also like to ask, which sometimes a little harder to think through would be, what are some of your cautionary tales? It can be something, either it happened to you or maybe it happened to a client or just someone you know, but what are some mistakes that you want to warn solopreneurs about so that they can achieve the level of success that they're looking for with balance and finances?
One of the biggest mistakes I see today is the fact that people are not operating off of a business plan. They start a business, and this could be a direct sales business like Mary Kay. I deal with people starting that as well, or it could be a traditional business, and they're not doing a business plan. They think because they have a great product or they have a service that they can just jump out there and start selling and make money. And that is a big mistake. Some businesses spend years developing a really great business plan. And there's so many pieces that go to creating a solid business plan. There's like 5 pillars that basically are the big points of a business plan. And then there's things underneath of it, but they interweave together. So you could have 1 or 2 of the pillars solid, but if you don't have the other ones in place, it's going to prevent you from really realizing the full potential in the business that you want. And people aren't doing that. They're just jumping into selling something, and then when it doesn't work out, they think, oh, well, it's not for me. I must not be meant to be an entrepreneur. And that's not the case. You need a business plan, and that's also the basis for pretty much everything that I teach. Financials is actually a big part of a business plan. If you do know that, if you do have any knowledge about a business plan, you'll know that. So that's obviously a big piece of it. But there's other things as well that are a big piece of a business plan that people just aren't doing it. And it's just so important to have a business plan. I tell people all the time that a house is not built without a house plan, and a business is not built without a business plan either.
So true. So true. So what are you working on now, and how do people get in touch with you?
Awesome. Yeah. So right now I am about to be releasing my new God-Inspired Money Academy, and it's going to literally take everything that I do and put it into one. It will help teach you how to create money, how to manage your money, and also how to multiply it. So that's my newest thing that I'll be releasing soon. So you can actually visit my website, and you can receive my Divine Financial and Business free gift bundle, which is a lot of amazing resources. Everything I use to create 6 figures. It has a business plan outline checklist to help you if you don't have a business plan, and some other free goodies. And then you'll be on my list to be first in line for when I actually release this program soon.
Super exciting. So what's the website again? If you can spell it, that would be great.
Sure. It's my name, and it's SNOWESAXMAN, SnoweSaxman.com.
I love your name, Snowe. Is that the name you were born with? Is it a nickname? Because it's the word snow with an E at the end. I just love it.
Yes, the E is silent, and it is my real name on my driver's license and birth certificate. I get asked that a lot. I was actually named after someone. My parents had good friends. Her name was Snowe. Her husband's name was Abraham, and I'm actually adopted. And I have an older brother, and of course we were adopted, 40-some years ago. And typically getting babies is difficult enough as it is, and so they had my brother. They never expected to get another baby, but they had kept their name on the adoption list. And one day my parents came home, and Snowe and Abraham were at their house, like on the front porch, waiting for them. And
wow.
They're like
in a basket.
Yeah, they're like. Snowe and Abraham were like, we wanted to tell you something. And Abraham had a dream that my parents were going to get a baby girl. And they were like, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. But a couple days later, they got a phone call from the adoption agency that they had a last minute adoption of a baby girl. And they asked them if they wanted it. And they said yes. So they named me after the wife, Snowe.
Oh, okay. I was thinking the baby was going to be on the doorstep. Like at their feet. Like, here you go.
Yeah, not that dramatic.
Oh, I love it. No, that's a fantastic story. Well, I truly love your name. So again, everyone, it's Snowe Saxman, SNOWESAXMAN.com. You are an absolute pleasure to chat with. I think every solopreneur needs to go to your website, get that bundle, get on your list for your upcoming academy, and just make sure that people think about these things, the fundamentals, the business plans, the tax strategies. All of this goes up front. It's, just like you were saying, the house plans, and then the foundation goes in. You don't want to start adding walls and windows when you don't yet have a foundation. And so, again, thank you for chatting today, and it was a lot of fun.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast, and if you leave a review on iTunes, I promise I will read every single review. If you know someone who makes a full-time living from part-time work, and maybe this is you, please visit LIFESTYLESolopreneur.com to nominate a guest or to nominate yourself. Because remember this, money doesn't buy happiness. But money in the hands of a happy person, there is no greater tool.
Today's episode was brought to you by the Get Shift Done program. It's a lifestyle-changing online class to help you define your business and lifestyle ambitions and to set goals in a way you've never experienced before. This class will 10x your daily productivity with methods that will blow your mind. And if you use a coupon code podcast, the class tuition is 99% off. Visit GetShiftDone.com to enroll today.